Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Chilltown Hoops. I'm your host, Jermaine. The youngsters call me OG. My friends call me J-Dub. Let's get to it. What's happening, guys? We got Game 5 tonight. All right? Game 5 tonight. It's going to be huge. Going to be huge. What's going to be the difference in this basketball game right here? What's up, Balls? How you running, brother? You doing good? Balls, my life. Word. What's going on, brother? Cole, what's up, my man? Good to see you. I'll tell you what, man. Tonight's game, I'm just having a difficult time with the idea that Phoenix can slow down Milwaukee defensively. Jordan, what's up, brother? Lucy the Taco Dog. I don't know, Luce, because, we talking about they still got to take care of business at home. They have a great opportunity if they do. If Milwaukee can handle their business tonight, they got a great opportunity. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I think Drew Holiday is going to be better tonight offensively. And Michael Laffey, what's the crack? Crack's good? Charity, what's up, brother? I think the Bucks got a great opportunity tonight, man, coming off of what they just did, how they were able to handle Phoenix defensively. I think that they have a great opportunity to continue that because I'm looking at what Phoenix is doing, and I'm pretty sure Monty Williams is just telling them something simple as they're just playing harder than you. Well, if you can't match that, then you can't match that. I can't fault another team for working harder, and I will not. And if they're just playing harder, that means that that's the difference in what they're doing defensively. We're playing harder on defense. That means that's why they're winning the rebound battle. That's why they're taking care of the basketball. We're working harder than you guys, and that's the difference in this. So, Pedro, what's up, brother? I'm doing good, man. How you doing tonight? B-Lake, you think the Suns have all the momentum going home after what you just saw in games 3 and 4? You think they got the momentum? Wow. Okay. I'm interested to see how they come out, even though all the pressure is on them. All the pressure is on them because it's not as difficult to win game 1 or game 2 at home than it is to win game 5. What's up, Fluid? How you doing? I'm running good tonight, brother. Xavier, you think the winner of tonight's game wins the series? Love you too, Cam. Rico, what's up, brother? Hold on for a second, Raymond. Let me see what you got here. I think Zion has the potential to be better than LeBron and greatest. He's unstoppable at the rim. I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but it's not over the top. What's up, D-Mac? How you running, brother? Xavier, I just like what Milwaukee's been doing, man. And I'm not going to go overboard and be a prisoner of the moment because it was on their home floor. And role players have a tendency to play better at home than they do on the road. So I think you're going to see a better effort from Bridges. I think you're going to see a much better effort from Cam Johnson. I just think you're going to see a better effort from their other guys. However, when you're talking about defensively, I'm interested to see how Phoenix can combat what they're doing defensively. How can Phoenix combat that offensively? Because Drew Holiday has done such a great job at just slowing Chris Paul down, and slowing him down slows them down offensively. So I'm interested to see how Phoenix comes out and handles that. So yeah, I think it's a bit of an exaggeration, my man. Just a little bit. Eli, I think you're absolutely right. Just if you can continue to slow Chris Paul down, you got a really good shot. Michael, have I been to an NBA game? Yes, sir. I've been to plenty of NBA games. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. CY thinks that he thinks that Middleton could have another 30-point game tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if he went off again, man. I don't know about 40. I'm not gonna go that far. But I wouldn't be surprised if he went off again. That would not surprise me. I don't know if it's the Bucks game to lose, but I will tell you, I think that the Bucks have a lot of momentum going their way. A lot. My favorite NBA game that I've been to, Michael. I was at. I think I mentioned this to the panel before. I was at the closeout game in 2001 in the Western Conference semifinals when Kobe Bryant went 48-16. I was there. That was incredible to watch Kobe go off on those guys like that. That was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. I think that Zion, if he could stay healthy and put a mid-range in his game, I think he could be the face of the league at some point. I do believe that. Greatest performance I've ever witnessed live. That one, when I saw Kobe Bryant go 48-16 in 2001. I did see Shaq on his birthday in 2002 in Golden State. He had 48 on them. I was there for that. That was pretty incredible. Well, let me ask you this: how does Lonzo come back different now than when he first got to the Lakers? Because he's a different player. And how does he incorporate himself with the Lakers now than he did 2 years ago? I mean, he's a better long ball shooter. I think he's a better defender. He's still a primary ball handler. And he doesn't play off the ball. That's James's responsibility to play on the ball. I don't know if Lonzo fits with the Lakers. I think he would fit with the Lakers in the future. But I don't know if he fits with them right now. Pickleball, I don't have anybody in particular that I root for, but I think that Milwaukee has the momentum going into Game 5. I did see the new movie Space Jam. I saw it today. It wasn't bad. I think the original one was better. This Space Jam had a lot of cartoon stuff in it. More cartoon stuff in it than the first one. There was a lot of moral stuff that was in it that was really good. I did enjoy that. So the last NBA game that I attended, I was last season. I was it was 2 months before the pandemic dropped. The Clippers came down to Miami, and I went to see that game. Leonard was playing, no Paul George, but Leonard played. What was the best finals I've seen? The best finals game that I've seen. I mean, Jordan dropped them 6 threes on Clyde Drexler. That was pretty awesome. Ray Allen dropped 6 threes on Kobe, and they were down 23, and they came back to beat them. That was really incredible. Shaq dominating Mutombo in the finals in 2001. I loved every minute of that. I'll tell you what, Casey, Steve Nash is a pretty cool dude. Shaq was awesome. Last game you went to was the day Kobe died in San Antonio. Most underwhelming final series in 2007. I don't think I even watched that series because I knew San Antonio was going to smoke Cleveland. I didn't. And at that time, I was already a huge James fan, and I didn't even watch that series because I was thinking to myself, they got no shot against these dudes, and I was right. They got swept. I met a few. Yeah, I'm good, Ben. How you doing, brother? Lonzo could be a D&3 guy with Braun on the floor. When Braun goes to the bench, that could work. That absolutely could work. But my question is do we play him when we get into the meat and potatoes of the game? Do we play him in the fourth quarter? Because the way this team needs to be constructed, it has to be where James is playing off of guys. Because this team can't be constructed around James doing everything. It can't be. Favorite player I met? Shaq. 7-Eleven. Do I think Jason Tatum could be a number one? I think he has the potential to be a number. I think he's already a number one. I do. I think he's already a number one. It's just this guy's 20. He just turned 23 years old. So we don't know who he is. The potential for him is just immense. And he's still getting better. I already think he's a number one. It's just a matter of time where they're building that team around him and it materializes. Because like I said, I already think Jason Tatum is the number one. I was flabbergasted that he didn't make the All-NBA team. I was shocked. Under 222 tonight? Under 220 tonight? Well, if they can hold Phoenix to 100, like they did in the last two games, it was 100 in game 3 and 103 in game 4, then they win. Absolutely, I think they win. So I'm going to go under 220. I think Jason Tatum over Luka because he has a better up. I think he's got a better upside. He's a better athlete. I think he's going to improve even more. I think Luka's going to get better too. Jason Tatum is my favorite young player in the game. Oh. Sorry to hear about your mother, Brad. I don't think Luka is better now. I think Tatum will be better in the future. Joshua, I don't rank fights. The 2016 NBA season being the best NBA season ever. I don't know, that 91-92 season was pretty dope. That 92-93 season was awesome. That 2001-2002 season was pretty incredible. The 86-87 season was dope too. Mr. Penis, I think so. I do think that. I think he can surpass Paul. I think he can surpass Paul Pierce on that list. I do. I think he's a better athlete than Paul Pierce. Now he's got the benefit of being on a better team early than Paul Pierce does, but earlier than Paul Pierce does. But I'm not gonna blame him for that. Absolutely not. No problem. Do that. Thank you. Liam, what's up, brother? Jay, do you think Spider better than Tatum? I think Spider on a better team this season. I don't know if he's better than Tatum. I think if you put Tatum in Utah, I think they rolling. I don't know if you put Spider in Boston, if they go into the East Finals 2 of the last 4 years. I don't know if they're doing that. I don't really know much about Messi or Ronaldo. I really don't. I heard that Messi is the real deal. Best LeBron game winner? He's got so many, man. If I had to pick one, my favorite is the one in Chicago in 2015 in the playoffs. And the reason why that one is my favorite is because Coach drew the play up for somebody else, and James made it clear, we're not running that. Give me the ball. This is where I'm gonna be. Give me the ball. Game's over right here. That's I absolutely dug that. So hold on for a second. Luke Bumgarner said, would it be crazy for Milwaukee to go after Lillard if he becomes available? Possibly offering a package such as Middleton and Holiday along with bench pieces. I think it's a little far-fetched, Luka, because we kind of got we got a really good unit with what we're doing, and they just traded and extended Drew Holiday. So I think that's a little far-fetched to ask to blow this up again. I'm not feeling that. Rank these players: Lopez, Nick Claxton. Nick Claxton. Well, I think Brooke is better than his brother Robin. Nick Claxton. I'm gonna need some clarification on Nick. James Harden over Damian Lillard. He's bigger. He's a better playmaker. He's a better shot creator. He draws fouls better. He's a better distributor. The best 5-man currently in the NBA. Well, Embiid doesn't pass it like Joker does, but Joker doesn't rebound or defend like Embiid does. And outside of passing, I think Embiid is just as good, if not a better offensive player. Embiid, in my opinion, Embiid. I don't know if Luka's a point guard, Logan, more than he's a ball handler. Well, Raul, I got to ask this question. I got to ask this question a while ago about Giannis being top 5 all time, and I want to clear some things up with you guys. When you guys mention, I think the term all-time great is thrown out very loosely. When you got all-time great talent, when you got all-time great performances, all-time great performers, the one thing that these guys have in them, longevity. They did it for a long time. You're talking about Magic. You're talking about Jordan. You're talking about Kobe. You're talking about Bird. You're talking about Shaq. You're talking about these top 5 power forwards in Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan played 19 years. Malone played almost 20 years. Kevin Garnett played 16 years. Barkley played 16 years. Dirk played 20 years. Giannis got more work to do. For you to do what you've done in this short span of time only suggests to me that you're making a run. Can you continuously do it? And can you sustain that for a long time? That's greatness. No, Rico, I didn't really think about like Instagram and stuff like that because I don't want to get myself enamored in the world of social media. Yo, I talk basketball with you guys, and I mean this is great, but you know I don't want it to turn into something completely different. I've never seen Donovan Mitchell have a bad game. 2 playoffs, 3 series, not a single bad game. I've seen Book have way too many bad games for him to be my one solo. Paul is like a 1A, while Spider has 3s. Spider can shoot the long ball, but I don't see much of a difference between those two. I do think Book is benefiting from playing with Chris Paul. I do think that's going on. Absolutely. I think that helps out. I think that helps out tremendously because now he's more efficient because he's playing off the ball and Chris Paul is putting him in better positions to score. You asking me, do I have advice for a basketball player who is chasing hoop dreams? Absolutely. You got to live it. Don't be afraid to fail. You can be afraid to fail. Let me rephrase that. You can be afraid to fail, but don't let that stop you. Chase your dreams. Otherwise, people are going to chase you away. So don't be. You can be afraid to fail, but don't let that stop you. Please don't. Liam, I do think the Raptors let Lowry walk at the end of the season because he's going to cost too much. And this league is a salary cap league. And when you got a 34-year-old in Kyle Lowry, how many more years you think Kyle Lowry got at the level that he played 2 years ago? I don't know if I want to be on the hook with Kyle Lowry for $30 million at age 36. I don't know if I want to do that. Yes, I did, JD. I put Steph in, and I didn't put KD in my top 5. I put Leonard in front of him. And I put Leonard in front of him because Leonard plays on both sides of the ball. Now, I know that Steph doesn't play on both sides of the ball at an elite level. It was between Luka, KD, and Leonard. And my rationale was Leonard plays on both sides of the ball. And it was right now too. And we're talking about Steph Curry as the league leading scorer. KD missed 35 games this season. And I'm not talking about him with the Achilles injury. That was 2 years ago. I'm not even on that anymore. He came back. He was averaging almost 30 a game when he first came back. So he looked like he was still sharp. That wasn't the question. And the question was right now. This was before Leonard had gotten hurt. Jason, I've been here. We had 2 games. We had 2 days in between. I was on Thursday night. I haven't heard any sad MVP speeches, Young Buck. Have you? I haven't. Right, great. I did say that. I did say he was better in Golden State. And the question was right now. Right? And the question was right now. The question isn't all time. The question was right now. Steph was healthy. He led the league in scoring. KD missed half the season. He missed 35 games. I'm not going off of him just being nicer than I'm not going off of him just being nicer than Steph Curry. I'm going off what he did at this particular moment. And at this particular moment, Steph was playing better than him. And that's why I put Steph ahead of him. He's the league leading scorer. Well, Drew, that's a completely different question, which is tricky because, like I said, Steph is in a different space, man. We're talking about a 3-time NBA champion, 2-time league MVP, arguably the greatest shooter of all times. Now, Kevin Durant was all NBA. I think he was in year 3. He was all NBA. Steph Curry wasn't all NBA until year 5. So if Steph quit today after 12 years, we're talking about almost half his career where he wasn't an all NBA performer. So to answer your question, I think KD is a bigger, better athlete. I think Steph is a better shooter. I think Steph is, that's a tough one, man. Going all time, it's tough to pick between them two. That is. Mike Love, I'm actually feeling all these black coaches getting hired. I'm absolutely feeling that. Willie Green and Udoka. What's my man's name down in Orlando? He just got hired. Monty Williams, Doc Rivers. Because I think before these guys, there was only 3 black head coaches in the NBA. Great Elon, why is Joker not in your top 5? Because the question was barring health, who is in your top 5? The 5 guys that I put in there, Joker not better than none of them. He ain't better than James. He ain't better than Giannis. He ain't better than AD. I don't think he's better than Curry, and I don't think he's better than Leonard. Nate McMillan in Atlanta. Perimeter defense, Klay Thompson. Perimeter defense. Hold on for a second. Perimeter defense, like Klay Thompson and Kawhi is overrated. A footer like AD coming from help. I don't think Klay Thompson is overrated. Absolutely not. Did you see Klay Thompson dealing? I know that Kyrie Irving went off for 40, and I've said this countless times. You ain't stopping nobody in the NBA. You can slow guys down, and Klay Thompson at 6'7", he makes it difficult on a lot of guys. I would not overrate Klay Thompson as a perimeter defender. Absolutely not. And as far as Kawhi Leonard, I think you going off the fact that Luka gave him the business. Who does Luka not give the business to? That's my question. Who does Luka not serve? The question is can you slow him down? Kawhi Leonard is an elite perimeter defender. No question about it. KD better offensively than Bron? I honestly cannot make my mind up on this one, OG. I don't think so. I don't think KD is a better offensive player than LeBron. LeBron's a better playmaker than him. LeBron's a better passer than him. LeBron's better in transition than him. LeBron shoots the long ball. I see that KD is nice with the peel, but and Kevin Durant led the league in scoring 4 times. Just so you know, I think James averaged 33 times in them 7 seasons that he was in Cleveland. Seven black coaches hired. I like that, Mike. I do. Because what it suggests diversity, which there wasn't any. Elliot is asking me who's the better defender, Kobe or Mike. Michael Jordan is a better perimeter defender. I think he's a better overall defender than Kobe Bryant. Jordan was very good at decision making. Jordan was very good at playing defense off the basketball. Jordan was elite. He was an elite on-ball defender. He was an elite shot blocker. So I go with Jordan. Lucas, I'll tell you what, man. I think that New Orleans situation is very unstable, and I don't like it. They just hired a head coach. They still got to deal with Lonzo's situation, still. They got a lot of holes that they have to handle, and they're scaring Zion, in fact. So I think that they have the players. The problem is that the organization is unstable. So that's why you're not seeing everything that you could see from Zion and Ingram and Ball, because leadership is the problem. I never said his defense is overrated. I'm saying perimeter defense as a whole is overrated. Weak side rim protection. Also being able to choose, able to close out from the help is way more valuable. I don't know if it's way more valuable, JD. And the reason why I don't know if it's way more valuable is because if I got a guy in front of me with the ball, the guy who's off the ball, if I'm off the ball and I'm not covering the guy who's on the ball, the guy who's covering the guy on the ball is way more important than me helping him. Because he has to deal with him one-on-one. If he can't deal with him one-on-one, then I can't get over there to deal with him in time. Where does Dame belong? Well, I don't think he wants to leave Portland. But the problem that we have is I've said this in the past, you guys are the ones that are going to run him out of there. And you're not going to get, even if he were to request a trade, you're not going to get equal value for him. So if he were to request a trade and he ends up in Philadelphia, getting Ben Simmons, that's not equal value. I mean, you're getting a good player, and I don't know if you got to completely rip this whole thing up, but that's not equal value. It's very much like when the Lakers traded Shaq to Miami, and they ended up with Lamar Odom and Caron Butler and Brian Grant. I mean, you're not getting equal value, but Lamar Odom ended up being a starter on their championship teams. So OG Breezy, where do I rank Giannis? I don't rank them on the all-time power forward list because they got a lot of work to do. They have so much more work to do. Those power forward lists, those guys have been around for 15 plus years. All these guys are showing me right now is that they can do it in a short span. There has to be longevity in what you're doing. Absolutely. Hold on, G. For certain guys, you can almost send now. Guys, you can almost send now. That help is Giannis. He can send a shot. Gobert struggles on the perimeter to defend. I can't fight that, and I will not fight that. He does struggle on the perimeter to defend. Absolutely. See the Rockets go to the finals in 18 versus the Cavs. I was actually rooting for the Rockets in 18 because I thought that Cleveland could beat them. Because I know who James Harden is. He showed me that in Game 7. He showed me that in the playoffs previous. When you go deeper in the playoffs with him, he starts to break down. That's just who he is. That's who he's always been. And I was rooting for Houston because I didn't like that matchup with the Warriors. I didn't like it at all. And I thought that because I was looking at that Houston team thinking, Cleveland, you guys can beat them. Because I didn't like that matchup that Houston had at the 4. They didn't have anybody to deal with Kevin Love in terms of him stretching the defense. They didn't have anybody. Chris Paul wouldn't have been able to deal with LeBron in an open floor like that. No, he would not have. And there would have been a higher pickup point. Like what Drew Holiday's doing, they would have been doing the same thing to him in that series. That's if he could have held up. But he proved that he couldn't hold up. Do you think Patrick Ewing has multiple championships? No, because Jordan was gone for 2 years. He's the only big man. He's the only elite big man of that era not to win. Hakeem Olajuwon, David Robinson, and Shaq all won. He was the only one who didn't win. So, no, I don't think that. No, Logan, they shouldn't try to trade Jalen. No, do not do that. Absolutely not. That's 24 a game that you're getting rid of in your lineup. I would be more inclined to trade Marcus Smart. Do I think Wilt's 100 can ever be beat? I don't think I'm going to see that in my lifetime. I remember when Kobe scored 81, I thought I heard that wrong. I thought that they were saying that combined, him and Lamar Odom scored 81 until I actually sat down and saw it. I was like, wait a minute. Did they say he scored 81 by himself? Are you kidding me? I'd be more inclined to trade Marcus Smart, though. Miranda, I'm not a big Isaiah. Which Isaiah Thomas? Isaiah Thomas that played for the Pistons, or Isaiah Thomas who played for the Celtics? Ron James, Iggy, Jordan, Bryant, and Kevin Durant, who was shooting. Well, I would have to draw it up. I'm drawing it up for James. What's up, Uzi Vert? Lucas, if Lonzo leaves, what team will benefit most from his skills? I think the Knicks, man. I do. I think the Knicks more important than anybody. OG Breezy tells me that Giannis has achieved more in his 8 years than what Charles Barkley did in his 16 years. Did he really? It's interesting you mention that, because Charles Barkley is one of two guys that has 20,000 points and 10,000 rebounds. Giannis doesn't have that. Giannis got 2 league MVPs. That's a fact. Giannis is a defensive player of the year. Absolutely. Giannis ain't an 11-time All-Star, though. No, he is not. Giannis ain't, I think, 10-time All-NBA performer. He ain't that. So, no, he hasn't. You going off the fact of what he's doing right now, with these 2 league MVPs and this defensive player of the year, and the fact that he in the NBA Finals right now. This is what I mean when I talk about longevity. So, no, he has not proven that. Because just so you know, Charles did the same thing, minus the defensive player of the year. Charles was league MVP too in year 9. What do I think of Drazen Petrovic? I think Drazen Petrovic was on his way to being a great 2 guard. And that New Jersey Nets team with him, Kenny Anderson, and Derek Coleman, I think that they were going to make a lot of noise. He didn't play much in Portland because he was playing behind Drex and Danny Ainge, but he was on his way to being something serious. I do remember that. I remember him. Paul, if I'm drafting, if I'm the Pistons GM, I like that kid Jalen Green, but it's going to be hard to pass on Cunningham. Hard to pass on him. I wouldn't rank them anywhere, OG Breezy, because they have work to do. You know, Chris Bosh played 14 years. Chris Webber played 15 years. These dudes haven't even played double-digit years yet. Let me tell you what they did. Them dudes won, Anthony Davis and Giannis, they won a couple of Grammys and a couple of American Music Awards. Meanwhile, these guys that are in front of them have sold millions and millions and millions of albums. They haven't done that yet. They're on their way to doing that. Giannis and AD have much more work to do, way more. And they got to prove that they can continue to do it. You wasn't talking like this about Giannis 3 years ago, were you? That he was an all-time great power forward? In 3 years, he becomes an all-time great power forward? Anthony Davis in 2 years becomes an all-time great power forward? Were you talking like that about him 2 years ago? Because I know I wasn't. When I'm guarding a great scorer, I can shade him to a side and have my weak side come and shut down. Rim protection is so important. Why bigs always get defensive player of the year. That's what the Hawks did to Randall. What about rings, William? Tweaks, tell them one more time, Tweaks, so I'm clear. What they doing, Tweaks? What they releasing? Are they headlining shows yet? Are they at the top of the billboards? One more time, Tweaks, for the people in the cheap seats. Who's better defensively based off skill alone, Dennis Rodman or Ben Wallace? I think it's Dennis, because Dennis could guard on the perimeter too. Dennis is guarding your point guard. Dennis is guarding your two guard. Dennis Rodman is guarding your small forward. Dennis is more versatile than Ben. Ben was primarily dealing with your bigs. That's who Ben was. Say it for the bozos in the back row. Keith Van Horn is the most overrated Nets player. I don't know about overrated, but I did expect more from Keith Van Horn. That's not your opinion. That's a fact. Hoops, I've had this conversation for the last couple of days about Larry Bird, and it's actually becoming exhausting. But I think the Lakers are a first-class organization. I think the Celtics are too, but I think the Lakers are the cream of the crop in the NBA. Nobody's coming. Where did they get Jason Tatum? In the draft. Where did they get Jaylen Brown? In the draft. You know, their splash in free agency is Kemba Walker. That's their splash. The Lakers' splash in the offseason is LeBron James. The Celtics got to build it through the draft because nobody's coming there in free agency. Nobody. Who do I think got next as the face of the league? I think Zion. I think Jason Tatum. I think Luka. I think Trae Young. I think Book, Donovan Mitchell, Ja Morant. All of those guys are the future face of the NBA. I do think the Knicks got a promising future. Utah over the hump. What do I think will get Utah over the hump? Well, Utah is in a particular situation where they got a lot of money tied up. You know, they just maxed out Rudy. They just maxed out Donovan. They're going to lose Conley in free agency, so they're going to have to replace him. Ingles is solid, but I think they need another elite perimeter defender. I do think that they need that because the Western Conference is crazy when it comes to elite perimeter players. Book. Who am I thinking about off the top of my head? Booker. Other Steph Curry. Klay Thompson will be back next season. Kawhi Leonard. I think that the Utah Jazz are missing. I think they're missing an elite perimeter defender. Paul George, guys like that. Luka. I think that if they can get a guy who, I'm here to lock ass. That's what I do. I could score, but I'm Drew Holiday. If Utah had a guy like that, like Marcus Smart, if he was on Utah, he'd help them tremendously. Because now that's somebody that Donovan Mitchell doesn't have to deal with. That's a defense, that's an assignment that he now doesn't have to deal with. Leonard ain't going nowhere. He's staying right with the Clippers. Brandon, I don't think Royce O'Neal is an elite perimeter defender. I mean, I watched him. I thought he got manhandled by Paul George. I thought he got handled by Paul George. If I could rewrite NBA history, what would I do? Hold on. I've seen a lot of Jordan highlights later. People keep saying that the defense was bad and the bad boys were overrated. Was the defense bad or was Jordan just that good? Jordan was just that good. And the reason why a lot of guys are saying that it was bad because they see how easy it was for Jordan. Jordan was really that good, yo. He was. He wasn't playing against bums. He wasn't playing against slow guys. Jordan was really that good. It was like Jordan was, if you can imagine Jordan being in the 11th grade playing against sixth graders. Because that's how much he separated himself from the competition. And these sixth graders are really good. They just ain't got nothing for this guy. Nothing. He's miles ahead of them. I don't think Westbrook is getting traded. I think he'll be in Washington. OG, Breezy, I thought that Derrick Rose was on his way to doing something special. He was. So, because like I said, Derrick Rose isn't, it wasn't his prime. Derrick Rose is a what if. Because like I said, he got hurt in year 4, man. And I'm still trying to make sense of why he didn't bounce back. He was only 22 years old. It wasn't like he got hurt in year 8 and he was in his prime and we saw him scratching the surface on what it was he could be. He got hurt in year 4. He got hurt in year 4, 22 years old. Yanko, what's up, brother? Is Devin Booker a top 15 player? Well, I'll tell you what, Nikki. Let's go down. Let's go down the list of top players in the NBA. James, Giannis, Anthony Davis, Curry, Leonard, KD, Joker, Luka, James Harden, Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook, Jason Tatum, Kyrie Irving, Joel Embiid, Paul George. Is Book better than any of those guys that I just named? Of those 15 guys that I just named for you, is Book better than any of those guys? Which one, Jameer? Jameer, which one is he better than? Let's talk to Jameer. Jameer Jackson. That's who I want to talk to. Which one of those guys is he better than? Which one of those guys is Book better than? Oh, you think he's better than Russ? Russ averaged 22, 10, and 11 this year. He averaged a triple-double. You think he's better than him? You think he's better than Russ? And by the way, Russ put that Washington team on his back. You think Book better than Paul George? Okay. I need to hear why. Logan, you think he better than Russ? 22, 10, and 11? 22, 11, and 10 for Russ? You know Russ was 6th in the league in rebounding this year? 6'3". He was 6th in the league in rebounding. Russ played for a trash team and took him to the playoffs. And I'm not that big a Russ fan. I'm not that big a Russ fan. You think Book better than Tatum? Do I think Russ can win one? It's going to be tough for I don't think Russ is winning it with. I don't think Russ is winning it with you. I don't think he's going to win it if he's your man. I think that he can be a supporting player. I don't think he's winning it if he's your man, though. No. Russ did take them to the playoffs with the second leading scorer on his team, on their team. Absolutely, he did. Giannis, what's up, brother? Solid Snake, let me tell you something. Grant Hill was on his way to being, I don't know if he was on his way to being Grant Hill, LeBron James good, but he was on his way to being an all-time great. He was. He was absolutely that. The guy that I put Grant Hill in the same class with, I think that he was a better version of Scottie Pippen. Imagine Scottie Pippen being able to score. You know, like the younger guys, you know, the younger guys that roast me, and they're gonna roast me for this. I'll tell you right now, Grant Hill would have ate Paul George lunch. He would have ate that dude's lunch. Well, D-Mac, I've already explained it, but that's just how I feel about the dude, man. You see people the same numbers the next game and win the. I'm sticking with my Finals MVP prediction of DeAndre Ayton. I'm sticking with that. If Phoenix were to win this series, I'm sticking with DeAndre Ayton as the Finals MVP. No, I don't, YG. I do not, because Luka is very stubborn. Luka stays on the basketball. Luka doesn't get off the basketball, and he can't do it by himself. I don't think so. I don't. Yeah, great. I said if Phoenix was winning, if Phoenix won the series, DeAndre Ayton would be the Finals MVP. I said that from the start. Logan, in my opinion, it's Grant Hill. OG Breezy, I think it's Brandon Roy. And the reason why I think it's Brandon Roy is because we actually saw him scratching the surface of what he could be. We saw Derrick Rose win the league MVP in year 4, and we saw him becoming that. But Brandon Roy was really becoming that in the Western Conference. He was making an All-Star team with Kobe Bryant and Ray Allen running around. He was making an All-Star team repeatedly. So Dango, you asking me where I would rank Kawhi Leonard. I think that Kawhi Leonard is a top 5 player. When he's healthy, I think he's a top 5 player. Chris Paul does make Ayton look good. He absolutely does. And Magic made Jabbar look good. That doesn't lessen what Jabbar did. Yes, Lorenzo, Grant Hill over Penny. He was a better athlete than Penny. He was if Grant Hill played with Shaq, oh my God. Oh my God. It kind of stuck, Instinct. It's kind of something that it kind of started when I first started doing this. And the next thing I know, they're calling me OG. And that's not my name, but it kind of stuck with me. So Len Bias was on it. Len Bias, I think, would have been an all-time great if he would have played in the NBA, Henry. I do. The Celtics would have built that thing around him. Larry Bird said it himself that Had Lenny lived, he would have came to rookie camp. He would have retired in '88. That's how good he felt about. That's how good he felt about handing the team over to Lenny. Great. OG stands for original gangster. I don't know if Ayton is a top 5 center right now. I mean, is he better than Embiid? Is he better than Joker? Is he better than Bam? The other 5 men in the game. Is he better than Cat? Is he better than Rudy Gobert? Is he better than any of those 5 guys? The reason why Cat isn't on the All-NBA team is because of Rudy. That's Rudy Gobert's spot. That's Cat's spot. But Minnesota is trash. If Minnesota was better, that's Cat's spot right there. You think Ayton is better than Cat? Cat 21-12. He's just on a terrible team. George, I don't think he's better than Vujacic. Not right now. I think he will be. I think Jeremy Lin's a great story. Played 9 years in the NBA. I think he's one of 5 players in the history of college basketball to have 1,500 points and 500 assists. Something like that. Yeah, he was nice in the Ivy League. He was real good in the Ivy League. Tier there. Player that should have been able to accomplish more. Shaq. And I get googly-eyed talking about Shaq on how awesome he was and how great he was. But Shaq, the centers that I put ahead of Shaq in Chamberlain and Jabbar and Russell and Olajuwon, those guys actually reached their maximum potential. Shaq always left me feeling like that there was more. You know, he played 19 seasons, never led the league in rebounding one time, never led the league in block shots one time. As big as he was, as athletic as he was, as strong as he was. Can you imagine? We already had this conversation about John Stockton. If we had a guy running around in the NBA that was 16-13 or 17-14, can you imagine if we had a guy in the NBA running around tearing down backboards? Can you imagine if we had a guy in the NBA breaking stanchions, not moving stanchions like what Zion did, breaking them and folding them over, or tearing the backboard off the stanchion? What's the narrative about that guy? If we got a guy running around in the NBA tearing backboards off the support, how are we talking about him? But he always left me wanting more, man. Always. Not one time, Instinct. I know that sounds nuts, don't it? Not one time. That was the gripe between him and Kobe, because Kobe saw what he could be. Kobe saw what this guy was, and Kobe made it clear that how much better we could be if this dude showed up. Wexton is asking me the best advice for a young player. The best advice for a young player is play basketball or get with a crew. How can I put this the best? You're trying to figure out who you are as a young player. And you're going to see somebody that you want to model your game after. You're going to see somebody that you want to be like. And do not lose your identity in the process of that. Make sure that you keep what you have too. I'm going to take something from him, but I'm not going to completely become him. What I am going to become is I'm going to become a ball player, though. So I'm going to surround myself with that so I can be the best ball player that I can be. Uzi Vert, I'll tell you what, man. Stevie Franchise was that dude. He was. He was absolutely that dude. I do believe that ball's my life. Absolutely. If Cat can get into a playoff team, Cat will retire as a top 5 player skill-wise. He's young. Well, here's the thing, Lucas. He was on Minnesota, and they made the playoffs, 3 years ago? They did make the playoffs. So he was definitely on a playoff team a couple years ago. So, Paul, you think that Jaylen Brown is going to have a better career than Jason Tatum? All right. And I won't fight that, Jonas. All right. You don't think that Kawhi Leonard is a top 5 player? Can you explain why? Great Elon, let me tell you something. I would love to see Cat in Golden State. Because he's the guy who stretches the defense for them. Not only is he the guy who stretches the defense for them, he's also the guy who rebounds. He'll make Draymond's job even easy. He'll make Draymond's job a lot less difficult. He'll make Steph Curry and Klay Thompson's job a lot less difficult because he can play on the box, but he can also play on the perimeter too, and he's an incredible transition player. And for the way they play, he would be great for any rebounds at an elite rate. Do I value playmaking on defense? Well, I can play make on defense. I can do that. So being a playmaker, I can play make on defense. I can play make on offense, but playmaking on defense, turning that into offense, that's a lot. That I think that's a lot more valuable. Kenny the Jet Smith was good. He was a solid point guard. He is, think Terry Rozier except more athletic. That's who you could equate Kenny Smith with today. I mean, Kenny Smith was an elite athlete. He came in second in the dunk contest in 1990 to Dominique Wilkins. Top 5 defenders. Nikki Toshia is asking me the top 5 defenders. See, when you talk about the top 5 defenders, man, the problem is that some people are going to get left out. You're only giving me 5. You're only giving me 5. And there's some people that's going to get left out. Osu, what's up, brother? How you doing? Lajuan, Tim Duncan, Jordan, Kobe Bryant. No, I got to take Kobe off that. Because he wasn't equal to Jordan. He was a better defender than Jordan. I mean, he wasn't equal to Jordan. Jordan was a better defender than him. Scotty and Dennis. Tony Allen is not a top 5 defender all time. No, he is not. No, Tony Allen is not a top 5 defender all time. You guys get wrapped up in Tony Allen made the All-League defensive team 6 times. Okay, that's great. John Stockton made the All-League defensive team 5 times. Sidney Moncrief made the All-League defensive team 8 times. Tony Allen a better defensive player than him? He a better defensive player than Alvin Robinson? Tony Allen is a top 5 defender all time? No way, Instinct. I can't go with you on that one. No. And I ain't tripping on you, Steven, 7-Eleven. If you put Sidney Moncrief in your top 5 defensive players all time, I cannot fight that. I can't. I don't know if Ben Wallace is the best all time because I don't know if he wasn't as versatile as Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman guarded Magic Johnson. He guarded point guards. He guarded Tua. He guarded Jordan. He guarded small forwards. He guarded Scottie Pippen. He guarded the four-man. He guarded Malone. Ben Wallace wasn't doing that. So how good was Sidney Moncrief? Anybody not named Michael Jordan, him and Michael Cooper was clamping down on guys. Sidney Moncrief was great off the ball as a defender. He was incredible. Kept his hands busy. He was a great on-ball defender. He was very physical. He was only 6'3". He was a really good rebounder, tough as nails. Yeah. You can make an argument, Mike, for Pippen being the best all-time defender. You can make an argument for that. You absolutely can. Mo Cheeks is a great defender. He wasn't better than Stockton, though. You think that Robin Williams can do the same thing Ayton is doing? Well, I'll tell you what, man. I don't know if Robin Williams is the offensive player that Ayton is, but I love him. And he's vital to what the Celtics are doing. I think he can be an elite rebounder at some point. I do think he can be an elite defensive player at some point. Robert Williams reminds me a lot of Ho Grant. That's who he reminds me of. I love him. I don't think Giannis can be a top 10 player. He's still got more work to do. Like I said, I can't put him in that space yet. Big Sneed, what's up, yo? What do I think the Lakers need realistically? I think they need to build that team around LeBron James with more of an emphasis on LeBron being a facilitator than everything being on him because he's long in the tooth now. He'll be 37 in December. We have to have somebody take over more of the scoring load. James can't average 27, 28. He can't do that. So they got to build that team around him where he's more of a facilitator, where you can preserve him for times like the fourth quarter. You can't have him doing all the work offensively. Evan, what's up, brother? Mark Price was really good. Mark Price was very good. Thanks, Big Sneed. Hope I answered your question. Mark Price was very good. I mean, he made first team All-NBA in the 92-93 season. He got overshadowed. He made All-NBA 4 times, but he got overshadowed because Stockton was running around. Magic was running around. Isaiah, Tim Hardaway. Mark Price wasn't flash. Mark Price knocked down the long ball. Mark Price was a really good distributor. And he was on a really good Cleveland team. He was probably a lesser version of Steve Nash. That's who Mark Price was, if I'm thinking about it. This is the game. I don't know, Nate. I thought the first Space Jam was good because I went to go see Space Jam today. It wasn't bad. It didn't suck. It was good. Dwayne Wade over Allen Iverson as a player. He does more than Allen Iverson. It's crazy that you mentioned that. It's interesting you mentioned that, SB, because when I first saw Sexton, he reminded me a little bit of Isaiah Thomas. That's who I thought he could be. But he don't pass enough for me. He doesn't pass enough for me, and that's not gonna put him in an elite class. I mean, he averages 4 assists a game. Now, I understand that he got moved to the 2, so we kind of got a situation where we don't know what we're doing with him. That's what it sounds like to me. Ho Grant over Oakley. Fate of the universe. Who I got behind the arc? Ray Allen. One shot. Ray Allen. Terry Cummings was awesome back in the days. Absolutely. Love Terry Cummings. Because they were competing for a championship, Charlie. That's why. And it became personal. And that's what happens when you're going up against your friends. Because back then, it was not about money and image. It was about, I'm going to kick your ass. And I don't care if you and me went to high school together. I don't care if you and me slept in the same dorm room. I'm going to kick your ass. And I'm going to do it in front of everybody. Oh, Dale Ellis. Glenn Rice had a money mid-range game. He didn't shoot the long ball like Dale Ellis, though. No, he didn't. No, that wasn't it, Cam. You ain't tripping. Jet, what's up, brother? Who's a player in the league today that I can't stand? Like, every time I watch this guy, I'm like, get him off the floor. Who is a player that I'm thinking about today? Who is a player that I'm not a big Kyle Lowry fan? I'm just not. I think he does a lot of extra. I think he does a lot of extra stuff. I'm just not a big Kyle Lowry fan. Pat Beverly too. Not really Kuzma, Muff, because Kuzma just leaves me scratching my head. Because 1 minute I think he got James Worthy potential, and the next I'm thinking, what is this dude doing in the NBA? Why is he on an NBA roster? And you re-signed him? What are you doing? Caruso. Best nickname of all times, Tier D? Diesel. The Shaq Diesel. Absolutely. I think Rondo is the consummate floor leader. I think that he's a guy who I think he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. If you got a championship team like what that Celtics championship team had, he was the perfect floor general for them. He was absolutely what they needed. And if you go back in time and you have a championship team, your floor leader looks like Rondo. That's who your floor leader looks like. If you go back in time and you look at a championship team, whether it's in the 90s, the 80s, their floor leader he looks like Rondo. Hold on, go back. Justin, I'm the guy who asked who Zeke is on TikTok. That's cool, Justified X. Because you probably wasn't around, and that's cool. That's fine. Yeah, Isaiah, his nickname was Zeke. Well, Logan, the problem with Alex English was that he didn't win enough. That's why people don't talk about him a lot. He was buckets. And the reason why people get lost in the shuffle, that's why you talk about Kobe the way you talk about him. That's why you talk about Jordan the way you talk about him. That's why you talk about Olajuwon and Shaq and LeBron and Curry. The reason why you talk about these guys the way you talk about them is for one reason and one reason only. And I'm going to let you answer that one. Why do you think you guys talk about these guys like that? What did they do? I'm asking you guys that. What did those guys do? Why Kobe and see that? Keep going, guys. Keep going. They won. That's why you don't talk about Tracy McGrady the way you do, or that's why you don't talk about Allen Iverson. That's why you don't talk about Tracy McGrady, Allen Iverson, Carmelo Anthony. That's why you don't talk about these guys like you talk about those guys, because they won. That's why you don't talk about Alex English. Just so you know, Alex English from 80 to 89, he scored the most points in the 80s. Nobody scored more points than him in the 80s. He had the most 2,000-point seasons. Denver didn't do anything, though. So nobody cares. Nobody cares because Denver didn't do anything. That's the sad part. Todd thinks CP3 is trash. I think that Milwaukee carries that momentum, man. I do, guys. I think that Milwaukee carries that momentum from Wednesday night into tonight. I do. No, Lucas, I don't, because I don't know how much higher you could rate him. You know, Malone is the second best power forward of all time, in my opinion. He lost to Jordan in the finals. So he is the second all-time leading scorer in NBA history. I think he's a top 15 player all time. I do think that. Phoenix home floor is lethal. Yes, it is. Absolutely, it's weird to be training with your opponent. Isaiah Thomas ain't playing pickup with Michael Jordan in the summertime. No, he is not. Scottie Pippen ain't playing pickup with Jordan. Jordan did find these guys in 95 and bring them all down because Jordan was trying to get back in the game. And he wanted to see where he was. Hold on, go back. I do think the Malice in the Palace screwed up our tests. I do think that. And I've mentioned this in the past. I had them winning the NBA championship that year. I did. I absolutely had them winning the NBA championship that year. Ruben, I think that the Milwaukee Bucks carry that momentum for what they had on Wednesday. I think they carry that into tonight. I do. Yeah, I do think LeBron is better than Jordan. Pregame is on. Matter of fact. No, Air Mason, nobody could guard Jordan one-on-one. Nope, nobody could guard him one-on-one. Oh, that's dope. Your chemistry teacher was Tim Duncan teacher. That's dope. Big Sneed, I do have James at the top of my list of the all-time greats. He's numero uno. If you could judge a player strictly on accolades, Maui, then Jabbar is the greatest of all times. And it's not close. If you're only judging strictly on accolades, Jabbar is the greatest of all times, and it's not close. In college, you wasn't able to play as a freshman. So he only played 3 years at UCLA. In the 3 years he played at UCLA, he was College Player of the Year, sophomore, junior, and senior year. In the 3 years that he played at UCLA, they won the national championship, sophomore, junior, and senior year. In the 3 years that he played at UCLA, he was the Final Four most valuable player, sophomore, junior, and senior year. That's the start. He gets to the pros. He wins the MVP of the finals in year 2. Yes, in year 2, he wins the finals MVP. He was Rookie of the Year. He averaged 34 and 15 as a rook. 5-time league MVP. I'm sorry, 6-time league MVP. That's not true. 6-time league MVP. 6-time league champion. 11-time all-league defender. I think 20-time NBA All-Star or 19-time NBA All-Star. It's not close with Jabbar. With his accolades, if you're just going off accolades, it's not close. What stands out to me the most when I'm replacing James over Jordan? I'm curious because I believe the same for a while. So what stands out to me the most? For me, James didn't have any consistency in Cleveland. And they were throwing ragtag teams together for him, with him. And they were telling him to figure it out. And he was doing that to the best of his ability, taking them to the Eastern Conference Championship, to the NBA Finals, with only one consistent guy in Ilgauskas. They built that unit around Jordan, who didn't have a lot of fanfare coming into the NBA. I mean, you could go check, there's a documentary you could check out. The Bulls didn't even pick him up at the airport when he first got here. It wasn't really that big a deal. He was a big deal coming out of college, though. It wasn't like Jordan was chopped liver. No, he wasn't. He was a big deal coming out of college. But James was that from the door. And they built that team around Jordan and the consistency that they had with him. And the consistency that they didn't have with James, even though he was still, and they were throwing him out there with those guys and telling them to go figure it out, and he was doing it. Yeah, I did go to college. Yes, I did. I played at Utah State. T.D. Juwan Howard made the All-Star team. He was better than Danny Manning. Jake, I'm with you on the Duncan over Hakeem, Bird over Kobe. Can't take Shaq over Wilt. Can't do it. Not just hands with an 18-19 Ray to keep doing it. He didn't just handle that pressure coming out of high school. And don't leave out, Ray, that he lives there. So it was a different pressure. It wasn't like he had to get on a plane and go to Utah. He actually lives there. So he got people there that's on him even more. I think Chamberlain would have adjusted to this era. I think he would have adjusted to the 90s. You know, I think we got to get off the idea that these guys wouldn't be able to translate their games and adjust their games to today's game. These guys aren't computers. These guys aren't obsolete machines that can't change. You can't upgrade them. No, he didn't average 30 and 15 for his career, Leanin. He averaged 30 and 22 for his career. Not 30 and 15. He averaged 30 and 22 for his career. But in what way do I think the 2011 finals affected James's legacy? Well, he was able to take a step back and see that what I'm doing isn't working, and I need to understand how to do this in order to win. And he was able to understand how to do it in order to win, which is why he was able to go on and win. Had that not happened, he never would have became the player that he was. He never would have became the winner that he was. Air Mason, you asking me if I can dunk? Hang on. Let me see if I can move this light out the way for you. Air Mason. I don't know if you can see that, but that's me at 16 years old. I don't know if you can see that. I might look a little bit older, but that's me at 16 years old. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, that's me at 16 years old. My brother sent this to me for my birthday. So back in the day, I wasn't bad. I could hop a little bit. I could play a little bit. So I'm the same height as I was at 16 years old. I stood at 6'3" at 16. Thanks, Isaac. Hey, I was in a dunk contest. It is not photoshopped. You can't Photoshop in 1989. The same size as I am now. I'm the same height as I am now, Ben. And I wore 23 in high school because of Jordan. And then when I got to college, I wore 24 because of a guy that I grew up with. He was the best player. He was my hero. His name is Terry DeHare. I was a huge Terry DeHare fan. That's why I wore 24. Riley, you asking me the best All-Star game that I've ever seen? The 88 All-Star game in Chicago with Jordan. That was awesome. That was absolutely awesome. Yes, young buck, stay around the game. Stay around the game. That's the only way you're going to keep that fire. Stay around the game. When I was in high school, TGF, it was we had a dunk contest. So my favorite games this season, I don't know if I have a favorite game this season. Yeah, I wasn't bad, man. I wasn't bad. I could play a little bit. So guys, I think that Milwaukee, I think they take that momentum from game 4 into game 5. And I think that they can do it tonight. And I think they go back home up in this series. So I'm going to get moving, and I'm going to be back on. I'll be back. I'll definitely be back on Monday. I'll definitely be back on Monday before the game. It was great talking to you guys as always. And I hope to see you guys again real soon. So take it light, guys. Till next time, take it light, but take it.